Yeah. Oh, I see.
Doug Henning.
Robert, Chip Kelly and some of the Eagles guys were talking about how they're prepping for an improved and different Robert than they saw in week one. Can you talk about how you feel different and how you think that they'll have to prep for you differently?
I just feel like everything is clicking for us a little bit better. We are putting up a lot of yards, we are putting up points, but at the end of the day, it comes down to winning the football games, and that's what we have to do. So, I think everybody sees it on the tape, and it's not just me, it's the whole offense. We're much improved, just in every, phase of the game right now for us. So, hopefully they do see that and they come ready to play because we're going to get everybody's best shot. We know that.
Differences between this year's 3-6 and last year's 3-6 are the things you can draw on?
We're in a similar situation as last year. We just got to go out there, take it one game at a time, one play at a time, and let the chips fall where they may. Focus on the little things, let the big things fall into place, and that's all you can control. The only thing we can control right now is getting to 4-6, and that's what we got to do.
Robert, you took quite a few shots on Thursday from that Vikings defense. You took quite a few shots the previous couple of weeks. How concerned are you by that? I know in a way that this is kind of getting back to last year and how you were playing, but how much of that it bothers you? How much of that is just the way it's going to happen, and what do you do to just kind of bounce back from that?
We don't want that to happen. I know I don't want that to happen. The coaches don't want that to happen. The players around me don't want that to happen. Just got to do a better job of that. Making sure that doesn't happen. Myself taking upon myself to get down earlier. I got 2 good shots there in the game that I can avoid, and just taking on my part to make sure that doesn't happen. And then other things within the pocket. We just got to improve there, and make sure we keep our quarterback upright, and it takes all of us. So. I've been hit a bunch the past 2 games, and everyone knows it. But we just got to move on and make each game a new game and not really worry about what happened before and improve.
In kind of a strange way, is that kind of a reinsurance maybe as to the health of your knee, too, that none of that's ever been a bother, that, if you're able to take all these many hits and still get up for it, things must be okay?
I don't know if that has anything to do with my knee. I've always been able to take a shot. It's just, you got to build yourself up in the offseason to get ready for those kind of hits. As big boys play at this level, and they're gonna hit you as often as they can, and it's our job to make sure we can limit those hits.
To follow up on Lindsey, Robert, you're feeling better. Do you feel like this game will be something to prove from week 1, or it's just another game? Is it a revenge game? How would you characterize what this week's game will be?
Man, you don't have revenge games. At least I don't. I can't speak for everybody, so I don't look at it that way. It's nothing to prove from week 1. It's that we need this game. Our team needs this game. It's not just about me or any personal vendetta you might have. You let God fight those battles, and the only battle I got to fight right now is helping this team get to 4-6, and that's all that's on my mind.
You told Coach Matt during training camp that job of being the quarterback and all that comes with it, it's only a burden if you make it a burden. Given the record and the way the season has gone and just some of the way things have fallen out, has it been harder to fight that, becoming a burden? Is it more of a burden or a trial than you maybe would have expected, especially after last year?
You take life as it comes. Life's going to throw you curveballs sometimes. You just got to figure out which ones to try to hit. And right now, it's not a burden. Like I said then to Matt, it's a burden if you make it a burden. You got to believe. It only takes one person to believe, and so you can have success. And I always believe in this team, always believe in these players, and so on and so on. So it's that's what it is for me. It's not a burden. I understand what comes with being the quarterback of the Washington Redskins. I understand what comes with being the quarterback in the NFL. And yeah, it might be a little bit harder here because of certain aspects of what goes on around this team. So I understand that. I got tough skin. My parents brought me up the wrong way. I mean, the right way. That was good. Let's let that sink in. That was good. So, my parents, they brought me up the right way. Military background, discipline, all that stuff, and I'm happy to call them my parents, and they've done a great job there for me. So I have all that inside of me, and that's all it takes. You got to have it inside of you to make it in this world, and that's what I got to do.
And just one follow-up on that. Just this season trying to see what kind of quarterback you were going to be, because it was thought, well, maybe I'll pass the ball more, but after week 2 you were saying, hey, I need to be the playmaker, I need to run the ball more. How much of that, I guess, dilemma has played a part in this season for you?
I just think it's if you look at the box scores from the first couple games and some of the stuff that was said in the offseason, I think it's real misleading. We came into the season doing the same stuff, planning to do the same stuff that we did last year. We got behind real early in those first 2 games and had to throw the ball a lot more. So it's not like we came into those games wanting to drop back pass. We wanted to go out there, give the ball to Alfred, run our zone read stuff, do the stuff off it that we like to do, and it just didn't happen that way when you're down by 21. Points right off the back. It's not going to work. So I think all that stuff's a little misleading. And when it comes to just being a quarterback, I got to go out there and run with coach, what those coaches call, and run it to the best of my ability. The team has to run it to the best of their ability, and that's what we got to do. And that's what I always try to do. Whatever coach asks me to do, that's what you got to do, and you got to take it from there.
Robert, sometimes coaches force whatever players they've got into their system. You have to run their system no matter what. But how much easier did it make you last year and even now that Mike and Kyle were willing to adapt the system you were fairly familiar with as a fan growing up to your skills?
Yeah, I mean, it's they've done a good job incorporating some of the stuff that I did in college, into the offense and putting their own spin on it, making it their own, and we've done a great job with those things. But also they've just done a good job taking their own system and being able to run it in different ways. Everyone knew coming out I was more of a shotgun guy than under center guy, and I've made the transition to under center, but we still do a lot of stuff out of the gun, out of the pistol, and I think that's where the creativity on their part comes in. They're able to put their system and do it with a quarterback in a different way.
And this is probably fairly obvious asking a player, but do you believe that players win games rather than systems win games? I mean, where do you stand on that whole thing? Players in the right systems, what do you think?
Yeah, players make plays, coaches coach. That's what it is. That's what it is.
Robert, the last 3 road games, specifically in the second half, Dallas, Denver, and Minnesota, you guys have struggled for whatever reason on offense in terms of the passing attack. What changes in a second half when maybe a defense can get a little more aggressive with the pass rush? Is it the crowd noise? Is it just a combination of everything? Anything you can put a finger on?
Not anything in particular. I think it's just situational football. And, we were on fire on third downs, there in the first half against Minnesota. And in the second half, we weren't on fire. And it's like I said, it's just situations. You get a 3rd and 16 and you get a sack. You get a 3rd and short, you got man coverage. Guy molesting your receiver out there, and you don't get the call. So it's just situational football, things like that happen, and it's just stuff we have to eliminate. I mean, there's no other way to put it. We got to go out there, finish games, and everybody wants to know what the secret recipe is, and it's just about us going out there and playing.
Rob Pierre's been your go-to guy right off the bat. What's the key to success for him? What makes him an effective receiver?
He's a running back playing receiver. I mean, I know everybody saw him truck that safety against Minnesota, so he does some freakish things. He's got a really I say it's a good attitude, but he's a tempered guy out there on the field, and he plays that way at receiver, which you don't see very often. So if you get the ball in his hands, you can do some damage with it.
Does that physicality enable you all to use him in a couple of different more ways because he can be put in certain situations and break some of those tackles?
Yeah, he can. You can get you a first down on 3rd and long, 3rd and 14, and you throw him an underneath route and he gets the first down. Just those type of things he's really good at doing. And, we got other guys on our team that can do that as well, so they can't just zero in on P, but he's done a great job with those things.
Everybody always wants to classify the quarterback style, I guess. In terms of your development as a pocket passer, where do you feel you are right now, and do you feel you have the tools to ultimately be an elite pocket passer if that's all you can be?
Oh, yeah. I mean, any quarterback out there knows you have to be able to operate from the pocket. And that's something that I feel like I can do, but you can always get better. And that's the great thing about football. It's not, you even ask the greats, you can ask Peyton, you can ask Tom Brady, all those guys. You ask them, hey, where can you get better? And they'll tell you where they can get better, because you're never perfect. You're always striving to be perfect, and you're striving for perfection, but nobody was perfect. So that's the great thing about it, and I feel like I can be that and will be that.
Early this year, you talked about things like changing your leadership style maybe, and you wanted to run more, make more plays with your feet, things like that. Now, you said that things are clicking a little bit now. Have you found that have you changed more things, or have you just found that maybe just sticking with what's always worked for you has worked, is starting to work best?
I think it's, sorry about that. I think it's everything. We're getting in games early. We're starting faster, so we're able to run a lot more of our stuff that we have in our offense. And I think that everything together is just working better. We're doing better on third downs in the pocket passing. We're doing better on first and second down, getting more yards to make our third downs more manageable. So, I think that was me being frustrated. We're down early in some games, and it takes that threat away from you. So being in the games, having our defense, stop them early, getting us the ball back has helped us. So I just feel like in that aspect we're clicking better on offense. It's not necessarily just because I'm running, even though to the outside eye it might seem that way.
Earlier you were talking about having thick skin. You said, I know what it's like to play quarterback and to play quarterback for the Redskins. You kind of alluded to there being more complicating factors for the Redskins. I'm curious what those factors are.
Just big city. Bright lights, big media market. So those are the things that, our fan base is great. They demand success, and they got a taste of it last year, and they're going to want more of that. And we got to provide it, and we will. I think we will. So I think those are some of the factors that go into it. It's not a small town. It's not a small city team that doesn't have a big media room like this. It's part of it, and I understand that. Even coming from a small town in high school and a medium-sized town in Waco, in Texas, you step up to another level. You're in a big city, bright lights, and you got to perform, and that's what we're going to do.
When you have the game, going back to what Zach was talking about, the hits and all that, you have the hits the other day against Denver. At what point do you start to ever wonder how this impacts your career, and will those kind of hits eventually shorten it, or do you worry about that? Do you think about that?
I don't think about it. I think a lot of people do, and it comes down to you got to take it week to week, and not really worry about the years down the road. When it comes to those kind of hits, obviously you play the game in a way that you're competitive. You have the future in mind, but you're still competitive on that day. And bottom line is, I just can't be taking those amount of hits. In any of those games or any games in my career, you don't want to be hit that much, and a lot of the great quarterbacks don't get hit that much. And it's not just it's me. It's a lot of things that go into that, and you got to get better at it.
Right. And there's obviously sometimes protection on that for yourself. Sometimes when you take off, do you go back and look and say, is it so much of an instinctual thing, or do you go back and look? Maybe I should pause here and see if there's anything else, or do you just have to go?
A couple of times, I scramble out and you scan the field and no one's open, you have to go. Other times you string it out to the sideline. A lot of times you say, versus man coverage, a lot of times you can run for a little bit more versus zone. You got to kick back and try to find somebody that's open. And I feel like I've done a better job of that, but I can think of 2 runs in the Minnesota game, one on the goal line. Everyone remembers that one, and one on the 2-minute drive that I could have avoided. The other hits I did avoid, because I'm okay at doing that, getting down and getting out of the way. But, I got to do a better job of that, and it'll come, and then we just got to protect.
I'm sure it wasn't intentional, but maybe it was. But we heard in the locker room today, "Don't Stop Believing" was playing on the iPod. Is there a theme right now with this team and that they believe in themselves, that they can get this done? What is the tone, the state of the team right now?
Yeah, I think it's just one at a time. And it's a cliche. It's a huge cliche, but everyone wants to talk about, 7-0 run, win the division. And, we just know we have to take care of Sunday. That's it. That's all we have. That's all a lot of guys have. And there's a lot of things at stake when it comes to those kind of games, and I think guys understand that. Last year we played with that same amount of pressure on us, and we performed. I don't think it's going to crush anybody. They say pressure breaks pipes, and I don't think it will.
Robert, you mentioned the play on the goal line as one of the plays maybe where you didn't have to take the hit. If that exact situation takes place in Philadelphia this weekend, are you not going to take that hit? I mean, that seems like a play that you've been wired to try to make.
I can't speak now today as if I was on the field in Philly. I know what you're saying. It's tough, man. You're a competitor. I'm a competitor. You want to return kicks. I want to give. Let me answer your question. If I'm put in that situation again, I think if I'm in an identical situation, yeah, maybe I will slide. I think all those situations are different, and I think if I had not slipped, I probably would have got in. But once I did slip, I probably best for me to just get down and avoid that hit.
The